Hello and welcome to the Donna Show. This is your host, DJ Donna, and in today's episode, we have another big name as promised. Well, she is the mother of all electronic music in India, who brings something wholly unique to the Indian EDM scene. She has emerged from the psychedelic trance music scene into a genre defying selector of the finest electronic music, whether she plays progressive trance, dirty house, techno, or chilled ambient grooves. She is guaranteed to be in her element every single time. She is the leading light of the EDM scene in an emerging market that grows night by night. She is none other than DJ MA FAIZA. Welcome to the show, Ma. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for having me, Donna. I'm really happy
Thank
to
you.
be
Thank
here.
you. You're welcome. Well, Ma, just tell us about your journey. How did you become a DJ? What inspired you?
Um, well, it's a very convoluted journey, actually. I never had any kind of ambition to be a DJ, and when I started DJing, there wasn't actually that many DJs in the world. It was a very new phenomenon at that time.
Right, right.
So for me, I was just selling tapes on the beach in Goa. I was always very interested in music. I used to play instruments in an orchestra in the UK. And I've always been very passionate about music. And my music collection has always been very vast, you know, on all the
Right.
different formats, starting on records and then tapes and then CDs and then mini discs and then DATs and then back to CDs and now, of course, MP3s. Yeah, so I've always had a very big collection of music. So I started to put compilations together and I was selling those on the beach in Goa. And so many people really enjoyed the journeys and the stories that I told. And I got a chance to DJ, I think after about 7, 8 years of selling tapes. People kind of reached out to me and said, look, can you just play at a party? Because you've got a great selection of music. So I didn't really start DJing in clubs or anything. It was just at people's homes. And then I exchanged a lot of music with people around the world, and a friend of mine, her boyfriend at the time was doing events in Germany, in Berlin, and he heard of
Right.
some of my compilations, and he was like, "These are amazing! You've got to come and do the chill out set in Berlin." So that was my first international gig, you know, in like 2001. But I was already kind of performing at small parties here in India, at very small parties. There wasn't much
Right.
happening. So it's been a very kind of, even at that time, didn't see myself as a DJ. I saw myself as someone who was kind of selling music, and playing the music was a vehicle for people to say, "Wow, I really like this music. Where can I get it?" And then I would be like, "Oh, well, actually,
You can get it from me.
yeah." So because people weren't getting paid for DJing, so I think I
Right.
owned being a DJ maybe after 5 years of playing to people. I was kind of like, well, I feel like a bit of a DJ now. No one showed me anything. I didn't go to DJ school. I haven't really learned anything from any particular study. It's just been a life experience, really. I just do it, and when I make mistakes, I try to learn from those.
Right. So when did you, which year did you, start professionally performing as a DJ?
Does professionally mean you get paid for it?
Yeah.
Or professionally mean? Um, yeah, well, my first paid gig actually was in Pune in 1998.
Oh, wow.
So it's been 22 years, scarily, that I've been kind of performing and DJing, whether or not I owned being a DJ at that time, but I was
Right.
paid DJ, yeah.
And which was your first club as a DJ?
You know, I think I'm thinking about it, but I think it was Black Cadillac, which was like the size of a phone booth. In Pune. It was one of the first clubs, and they had this tiny dance floor that I think like 5 people could be in, and the DJ area was like the size of, I don't know, like a table somewhere, and it was so tiny. But I think that was the first place I played at, actually, probably for about half an hour, because everybody wanted commercial Bollywood music and nobody could understand what I was playing. So I did it for a short time till they were like, "Oh my God, get this person off!" and then the resident played. This is what happened at the beginning for me. I think if you're ahead of the crowd and you're ahead of the curve and you're
Right,
doing something different, there isn't necessarily a scene for it, and you have to kind of create that scene. So when you're a
right,
pioneer, or when you're way earlier than other people are listening to that music, especially in India, more internationally in England and in Europe, people were listening to a lot more electronic music. But in India, it was a very, 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 very small amount of people, and most people had no idea what you were playing. So, yeah, there were a lot of times I performed and people really weren't happy. Like I got booed off or pulled off the stage, or "Thank you for coming, Ma Faiza. 5 minutes. Thank you, go, Ma Faiza." Which is okay, because it just shows that you've got to create a scene.
correct, correct. So, what were your genres of music when you started DJing back in the days?
Well, I'd say it was psytrance, a lot of ambient. I mean, I don't know if people know this, but I actually started off playing internationally, mainly ambient music. So I would be the special act that would play in between times of dance floor, shifting from, say, psychedelic trance to silence. So I would have 3 hours to go from psychedelic trance in a beautiful way to silence, or opening a festival, so from silence to psychedelic trance, or
Psytrance.
be on
Wow.
a ambient floor, or but I have a lot of interest in different styles of music, so I used to play a lot of let's say Indian drum and bass, or ethnic flavored trip hop, or I did a lot of things, because on an ambient floor you really have a lot of choice. You can literally play anything, so you're not making
Right.
people, you're not making them sleep either, but they're just, rest their souls and let them have a little moment in between dancing and enjoying the
Right.
party. So yeah, it was very varied, and there was a lot more styles that I could cover. Once you start trying to make people dance, especially in the configuration these days, you're kind of limited to a certain style so that people can understand it. If you get too
Right.
wacky, it's like, "Oh no, what's happened?" So yeah, I still try to be challenging with what I play, and I try to bring different elements and different grooves. I don't stick in the same groove, because I get bored very easily, and I try
Right.
to challenge people's notion of what they thought I was going to play.
Right. So,
Yeah,
what are
because
your genres?
if you
Sorry,
give the people every time what they think they want,
it
then
becomes too
you
predictable.
never
You may
evolve.
flow.
You
Yeah.
don't evolve. It's about
Right.
challenging even a little bit, maybe some of what you think it was going to be, and then something new, because you never know. You never know. Like I have a lot of people who at my gigs will be like, "You know what, Marfiza, I don't know what music you played or what genre, but if people tell me that was side trance, I don't like side trance, but I really got into what you were playing, and that's because I've slowly gone from like tech house into side trance, and it might be a genre, they'll be like, oh no, I don't like that. But actually on the night, with the energy that was flowing, they actually really enjoyed it, and maybe that gives them a chance to think that they're not just limited to certain genres. Good music is good music, no matter what
Correct.
genre.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. So, tell me something, Ma. Where did Ma Faiza come from? The name Ma Faiza. We're all
Well,
pretty much intrigued to know about it.
it's actually not very complicated. My real name is Faiza,
Okay.
and I'm from the ashram in Pune, and they put Ma in front of my name, and I don't know, I really like the sound of Ma Faiza. It just has a tone to it. There wasn't anyone else doing that, and I don't know, it just kind of stuck, and I haven't changed it, and I'm very grateful for the way that it just happened, because it definitely gives you a bit of a pronoun. It gives you a bit of an introduction,
Yeah.
and also people relate to me in that way. But there was never a conscious, conceptual idea. It just happened. And I think most of the best stuff just happens. You know, if you
True.
overthink things, it's not really from your soul or from your heart. It's from your mind. And definitely you need to think about things. But I think sometimes there's such magic in just what happens.
Right. So, tell us about your most memorable performance so far.
Oh God, that's a question. I hate those questions. Thanks, Donna. Sticking me right in there. I'll ask you the same thing later, right? Yeah, it's great when you're on the other side. Well, there's memorable in good and bad ways. There's memorable when there was like 2 people at the
You
gig.
know,
It's memorable when you got booed off. It's memorable when you're so sick and you should be in hospital, but you're still DJing. It's memorable
oh,
when, I don't know, all kinds of shit happens, you know? I mean, they're all memorable, and some of them you really want to forget. I know it's memorable. It can be memorable because there was like 100,000 people. It can be memorable because,
tell us about it. Some good memories, not the bad ones, the good ones. Something you really want to share with the audience.
oh my God, that's really hard. I mean, it's like when people ask me what my favorite track is, it's like, I want to shoot you. I don't have a favorite track. They're all my favorites, all of them. They're like my little babies. How can you ask me to pick one? It's like asking someone who's a parent, which child is your favorite? So, I mean, okay, some of my memorable, do you know what? It's been so long since I DJ'd to picture. I've forgotten.
I think we all get stuck with these questions when we're asked. I mean, even I would get stuck with the question if I'm ever
Well, don't
asked.
ask me these questions. Ask me some really decent ones where I don't sound like I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, memorable. I tell you what, well, let's get back to that one. Ask me something else, and I'll
Okay.
come back in a bit. In the back.
Okay. Tell us about your achievements and awards if you've
If I've
so
got
far
any,
if you're
if I've had any. Oh my God. I think I was voted about 10 years ago as India's #1 electronic DJ, which was
Wow. My
awesome.
favorite, I think.
Yes. I think
Right,
that
right,
was the first ones that they had.
right.
That was quite incredible. And then last year I was awarded a Warrior Award for the queer community
Wow.
for my contribution to the queer community over the last 20 years, which was really, I mean, they're all very touching and emotional. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, am I just faking it? Like, is that really, do I really deserve that?
No, I
And
think you do. I really think you do. I've heard you. No, I'm not being biased, but I've heard you, and I've heard you since bed in Calcutta. That was the
wow,
first
that's
time I saw you.
2005.
That was the first time I saw you, and I was like, "Who is she?"
Wow, you were a
Yeah,
butcher then, so was I.
yeah.
Were you
And I
legally
was
allowed
there
to
all
be in that
night.
club at that time, Donna?
Sorry,
Were you legally allowed to be in that club?
but I was just there.
Because that's 15 years ago. I remember the year actually.
Yeah,
Ed was a
2005, Balagan Nights.
it was Lloyd was there.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
I loved the setup. In those days, Bed
yeah.
was well ahead of its time. You
It
know,
was one of the best clubs in Calcutta, I think, back then.
it
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah,
And
yeah.
that was the first time I saw you play there, and I was like,
Oh my God, and
and
you
you
haven't had
keep
enough yet.
playing.
15 years on, you're not bored.
And I think I remember my brother-in-law who saw you perform for the Sunburn, no, Supersonic, I think, a post for the after party at
Mhm.
Chronicle. And he said, she is the best female DJ I've ever heard in my life.
Well, that's
And
very,
I
very.
was like, you're absolutely true.
I
So
think people
coming back to the awards, I think you absolutely deserve it.
well,
I think
I
you absolutely deserve it.
think on a good day I do, and on a bad day when I have my own insecurities of wondering if I'm doing a good enough job and if I'm actually owning all that I want to be, then I can look back on those and think, well, okay, yeah, it's okay, you know. I think the hardest thing is just to be yourself throughout
Right.
everything. You know, it's
Yeah.
quite a hard challenge to really be authentic as you grow and you change and you evolve. And that's in every sense of the word as a person and also in your work, you know.
Right. Right. So tell us about any of your proudest moments so far in your journey, and your experience so far. Anything that really made you proud of yourself, while performing or traveling or any countries or anything.
I think I'm really proud of the fact that I'm still here. I'm still here, and I'm really still enjoying what I do, and
Right.
that's, you know, it's like a relationship with your work and a relationship with yourself and your own expression and having that grow and change. And I remember a few years ago feeling quite despondent and thinking, well, you know what, I think maybe in a few years I will stop DJing. And now I couldn't be further away from that. You know, I really feel very nourished by the music and by the creativity that happens and also my own expression. So I've also been really proud of the fact that receiving the Warrior Award for the community and having my parents there and being able to
Oh,
heal maybe some old wounds of my own coming out experience, you know. So yeah, I'm proud. I'm also really proud of young people today in India and the new breed of um, youthful person, you know, who's more engaging and maybe um, more willing to step outside their comfort zone and more informed. And so I think, you know, India's also changing, and I've been proud of some of those changes. You know?
right. Well, what have you been doing during the lockdown? Any new project or anything that you've been working on so far?
Wow, there's been a lot of creativity. I think that's the same for most of us, actually.
We're just
The
trying to
most,
figure out.
you know, I don't think I've ever slept as much as I have now. And I think I would be hard pushed to do a DJ weekend, you know, like 3 gigs back to back would probably kill me now because I've just got used to sleeping. But no, it's been a really creative time. I know that there's been a lot of like negative energy in the world, and we're still
Um,
currently going through that, and that's really challenging. So I definitely had times where I felt a bit lost and I felt a bit despondent and questioning, you know, what's going on. But I've really had the time to find some more creative moments and maybe do some other things. I'm doing a few other projects and expressing myself differently and really learning a lot more. So I've also done a lot of cooking.
yes.
So the skills have gone up. They weren't bad, but I've definitely sharpened them. Uh, I've just been enjoying a slower pace of life. There's definitely, like I said, been challenging moments of like, what the fuck am I going to do with the rest of my life if the club doesn't open? And definitely challenging, I think, like all of us as artists, that we're not working,
Yeah,
there's no money. But you know what? Money can't buy you happiness.
that's
And,
very true.
and in these times, the biggest gift you can give yourself is time, you know.
That we have literally lost on so many years of our work and traveling journey so far, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, we also gained. I mean, we you know, got experiences. We met incredible people. We saw amazing spaces. We were part of very inspiring concepts. We, you know, we gave people music which actually could inspire them or heal them or bring communities together. I mean, that's all really magical. But on a personal level, DJ and doing it a lot, like people that do 100 gigs a year, it's really not healthy.
Yeah, we lose on our sleep and our day-to-day normal life. I think everybody's timings have gotten upside down during our time of traveling.
No, absolutely. So I think this is a restorative time, although I know there are people out there who've been very sick and people have died, and that's really tragic. And the whole fear-inspired kind of lockdown is, I don't think, is very good for people's spiritual energy. But within that, if you can find some space for yourself and for your family and time to actually kind of breathe new life into yourself, then actually after this lockdown or after things kind of not go back but move forward in another way, I think there's a lot of kind of change that you can bring into what you do and what you think and maybe some of the work that people are going to be doing. So I think it's all positive. I try to take the positive way, but definitely, you know, just like everybody else, I also fall into a black hole every now and then. Being human, that is, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
tell us about your live shows that you've been doing
Well,
during the lockdown.
I did a lot of virtual shows, and they've been really inspiring. I did one last night actually, and I really
Yeah,
needed,
I went online. I was watching you.
you know, I just needed to sweat. I mean, my clothes were completely wet in 1 hour and 20 minutes. By the second track, I was completely wet. You could wring out my clothes. So I need to do that. It's like, it's for me, it's like, I don't know, I can get out anger, I can maybe get out frustrations, I can get out joy. You know, yeah, it's really important. And I see that before I could never DJ if there wasn't a crowd, because I've never been a bedroom DJ and I don't practice. And it's only recently I have the equipment here. Otherwise, I have nothing to play with, you know. So,
Nice.
uh, so it's been really new. I've been playing for myself and my own joy. Definitely, I'm with other people because they're watching, but you know, I'm really with myself. And so that's really, I don't know, given me a lot of insights into seeing how actually I really enjoy like going every now and then, not every night, but yeah, letting my head, you know.
And you can also enjoy playing what you like. I mean, of course, you can have people watch you, but it's about you. It's about you choosing your style of music.
But
And
I always did that, but I didn't, and I played for myself, but for me, I always needed a crowd. Like when I went to do any gig and there were like 10 people, I mean, I really struggled. I really struggled to play. I really struggled to be positive. I really struggled to not be disappointed or pissed off or just like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm paying for 10
right,
people. Like, what is this? And that was something because I never had the experience of practicing at home or doing anything. Everything I've learned DJing, I have learned actually in the crowd. Sorry, playing to a crowd. I've
right.
never practiced. I don't do cue points. I'm not very mindy with the music. You know, I'm really come from what I hear, what I feel, and when I just go through my tracks and I just hear something, and I'm like, yeah, that's the one. I'm playing that next. And I don't know how I know, and I don't know why I know, and I don't
It
know.
just rings in your head that probably, yeah, that's the next one that I want to play.
Yeah. But I don't know what track it is, and I might not have even track fully, and I don't know where the breakdowns are. I'm just not. I don't like a lot of structure. I like a little bit, and then I like loads of freedom, so I can just go with the moment. You know, I was never very good at homework. You know.
Is there any kind of ritual you kind of follow when you're performing before your performance, before you go on stage?
Well, I try not to be around people for like the last 1 or 2 hours before I go on because of that. I feel like I'm not very present, and I'm somebody who likes to be really present with people. I'm not very good at faking being present or just going, yeah,
No.
no, yeah. I really try to be there, and I find that when I'm listening to people's conversations or they're asking me questions, I'm losing myself and I'm not there. So before a gig, I really try not to meet people or to be around people for a couple of hours so that I've got my zone and I can just go in another space because I can't be in my mind. I have to go with my heart and I've got to go,
Right.
you know, and be fully present because everything I'm doing is totally spontaneous and nothing is rehearsed or prepared or structured. So I've got to really be present. I've got to use all of me. So that's something that I really try whenever I meet people before and it's like 10 minutes before and I'm having conversations and I'm like, oh my God, I've got to go on. I'm like, I'm like, oh, fuck. You know, when you want to DJ right now, I just want to sit and talk to you.
Let me
You know,
just get there and be done with. Then I'll probably come back to you.
yeah, that's not good. So I think that's the main thing I do. I mean, yeah, Kamlesh usually meets everybody and says, no, Mar's busy, because otherwise he knows I'll get brain fried and then I'm stressed and the gig's over and then I'm like, oh, okay, now I feel like I can do the gig. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's over. Where was I? I wasn't there. I don't know. Do you ever have any gigs like that where the gig's finished or you're nearly finished the gig and you're just like, I just feel like I wasn't there, and I don't like
Yeah,
those.
there have been times. Yeah, there have been, and also I also resonate with the same fact that I need crowd. I need that energy, from the people. I just can't play for an empty club. I mean, then it's
Mm,
just like playing at home. So initially,
yeah,
also I kind of had to struggle a bit with the whole virtual gigs and all of that. But then, I mean, also you kind of get bored after a while when you have to just keep looking at the walls and playing for yourself.
yeah. That's
So
why, for example, when I do my live streams, I try and get a smoke machine and some LED lights and lasers and a disco ball, so I can just push some buttons and go. And I can look at the trippy lights, and I can feel like I'm in a club. And then, but just playing to a wall, and you're just playing after 2 tracks, I'm done. So I those gizmos and make it really like cool. Okay, I want it to look good as well for people, so that they're not bored just looking at me.
right.
Mm. But it's also for me because otherwise I'm looking at a fucking camera.
And for how long can you do that? I mean, I've stopped doing virtuals because I'm like, I really want to play, but for whom?
Yeah.
It's like,
No, I
how
think now
long?
time more than ever to be really authentic. Now we all have this time to actually decide what we want to do because nobody is paying us. So you
Right.
can say, what is it I want to do? Because either way, I'm not getting any money. So what do I want to do? And I'm not even talking about what you play because that hasn't changed for me. I never compromised and I only play what I love. So I know there's a lot of DJs out there who don't do that. They don't have the luxury of doing that, because they're confined to a certain genre because that's what's worked for them, or they're resident DJs, or they make more money playing XYZ. And, I just don't go down that. So I've always had that luxury, but just to enjoy it for myself is also a very new thing. And and to be able to say, well, I don't want to stream for a month because I'm a bit burnt out because I did, 8 streams in a month because I was just like, but some magic really came out of it. For me, I did this 5-hour mix, Heal the World,
Uh-huh.
and all the tracks are 100 BPM. And
Oh, wow.
there's 50 tracks in there. And to actually put together 50 tracks in a story for 5 hours is actually really hard. And every single track, even though it might not sound like they're 100 BPM, every single track is 100 BPM. I'm really proud of that. And I found that something really magical. And I really felt like it had substance, and it was, you could put it on and for 5 hours, you don't have to listen to anything else. You don't have to change the music. The levels all sound the same in terms of the sound qualities. It doesn't suddenly get loud and then soft. And you can
Right.
just put it on at any time of the day or night. And I think that's something really magical that's come out of it for me, to do that. I
Where
wouldn't
can
get.
our viewers find that? Where
That's all.
can where can they?
SoundCloud, Heal the World, 5-hour mix, and you can click on download, and you can download
Wow.
it for free.
They must check it out. So
Yeah.
do you have any incident that has kind of changed your life?
Oh my God, I've had so many. I've had so many changes.
And you
um, well, right now I've met the woman that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, which has been quite
Wow.
changing for me. And I've met an incredible woman, Anuradha. I'm sure many people have seen her on my posts here and there. And
Yeah.
this has been quite incredible. I feel really blessed. I'd like to say throughout this lockdown that I felt a lot of gratitude, actually. Gratitude of having the time, gratitude that I'm still healthy, gratitude of having someone that I love right by my side, I mean, I feel a lot of gratitude. And I think it's really important now to just feel really grateful for what we have, because there's so many people who are not so privileged to even
Yeah.
feel gratitude.
I think the whole lockdown has actually taught us so much about life and about having what you have, and people who don't even have 1% of probably what we have at the moment. And
We can help those people, and maybe
yeah,
a little more kindness goes a long way. I've seen a lot of kindness, and I felt a lot of kindness around me, um, to people who are less fortunate or less privileged or having difficulties or challenges, and I found that really inspiring too. So I'm really proud that maybe this unites us rather than divides us in terms
Divides
of
us. Right.
yeah,
Right.
definitely a game
So,
changer in terms of making everybody equal, because I think especially in India there's a lot of attention put on your status and who
yeah.
you are and where you come from, and there's a lot of that, and I think now that's just been like a bit of an equalizer, because this can affect everybody and we're all somehow in a similar situation, bigger,
Right.
less to a lesser or greater degree. So I think that's also been really, really powerful for those that maybe felt like they were better than everybody else.
Right.
We're all human. Well, at least I am. I don't know. There might be some gods or goddesses out there, but I'm in the human.
Tell us any fan-related story if you remember anything.
Oh my God.
Something
Wow.
funny, for our viewers.
Well, I have a super fan called Vishal who's out there. Hi, Vishal. I think he's come to most gigs than everybody. He tried to come to all 50 gigs in 1 year. They were everywhere. He even tried to come internationally. And he even tattooed MA FAIZA on his arm. So,
Wow.
yeah, that's quite powerful. It means, my girlfriend cannot impress me by getting my name tattooed on her now, because someone else has already done it. I mean, he's just completely fucked it up for everybody else. But yeah, when he told me I'm going to get your name tattooed on my arm, I was like, dude, why? Why? Why would you do that? But bless him, he's really inspired by me, and that, I don't know, that's also a little bit scary, isn't it? That I don't know, that people hear you or feel you or listen to you or are affected by you or inspired, or that's also like, oh my God, like. So yeah, the first time has someone got a tattoo of DJ Donna?
Oh no, I don't think so. I don't think of any, no.
How would you feel if they did?
Um, I honestly don't know, because it's kind of, it's nice in a way, but also it's a kind of a little scary. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I mean.
having your,
In a loving way, when someone loves you and they want to carry you everywhere, I guess
that's different, but having your name on a fan's arm is a little.
But it means he gets free entry into every fucking club, doesn't it? It means that I give
Oh, that's
money.
not either.
Dekho mera tattoo. Dekho, kya hai? It's just like, okay, free entry to that one. Super fan. So I guess, he saved a bit of money for the next 10 years. Bless you, Michelle. I love you. And, it's to have people who really admire and love you and worship you. I mean, I never imagined that would ever happen. I still don't know why, but okay, it happened,
Okay, tell us about. Have you ever gotten into any trouble
Me?
during?
Never. Me? No. Oh God, I've been arrested while DJing.
during DJing.
Yeah, I've been playing the touching the CD players and getting electric shock every time I touch the CD players. I've had some crazy shit. I think I've had every scenario possible. Every scenario, like everything imaginable. I'm sure you have.
Tell us a bit about it.
Huh?
Tell us a bit about it.
Well, what, the first one? Or just, I mean,
yeah, a little bit of.
Okay. So electric shocks on CD players, CD players that don't have cue buttons. The cue button's not working. Right. Anyone who knows how to DJ knows that that's nearly fucking impossible, and you now have a nightmare, and you can't actually concentrate on the music, and
I've been there.
Kill your reputation. So now it looks like you can't mix anymore. I mean, oh God, no.
Have you ever done any, events where you had no monitor and your cue buttons were not working?
Yeah, of course. I mean, definitely. I mean, or they've given you a monitor that costs like 200 rupees to hire, and you've now got to balance all your sound and everything and all your effects that you're doing on like a 200 rupee monitor that's this. Like I was in Delhi in one club. Luckily, only 3 people came to that gig, so that was fine. I mean, look, we never know. All of us. You can go to any party, any festival, and you can do the best promotions. You can be part of an amazing lineup, but you never know what's going to happen on the day. You never know. There might be a bund. Some politician might die. God only knows what could happen. Liquor license gets shut for that day. There's a bigger party by a superstar next door. People just didn't come because it was raining, or the location was too far away and the road was closed. I mean, there is a million combinations. So until you get big and see people come in, you never actually really know. It could be a festival that happens every year and you still really don't know. You can never guarantee it. So, you know, you live by the seat of your pants in terms of knowing whether it's going to be a great night or not. And then you never know who's going to play and if that's going to be great. So, you know, each gig is like an adventure into the unknown from start to finish. I mean, do you not have the same experience, or is it just me?
No. I definitely have very similar experiences, actually. You know, I mean, there was a time when I played in one of the clubs in Goa, and there was just one person there.
Oh yeah,
Just one. And I was like, okay, well, play for myself. Let's practice.
maybe it was the same party because I played at this festival in Goa about 2-3 years ago, and it was a space for like, it was over Bugger Bridge, these fields.
Right.
Okay. And there was a space for at least 20,000 people, and there was not even 10 people there. And the setup was incredible, and they had all this, I mean, it was incredible setup, and it was just tragic. It was absolutely tragic. You know, like my perfect night is a great space which is filled, not overfilled, but filled to capacity, because too full is also horrible.
Yeah.
It's so, people are not happy, people can't move. It can also be really ugly, and it's not a great night. So a perfect for me, or a perfect event, is a capacity filled, exactly what needed to be filled, not too much, not too less. Secondly, really great sound. Thirdly, really like people who are really interested in the music and who want to dance, you know. And fourthly, that the promoter, the venue, and you all have a really great night. So, I mean, I don't want to take money off people that I know had one person at the event and they've just lost everything that they've invested in there. That makes that really painful. Then it's just business, and it's really painful. You can see they've just lost, you know, 50 lakh at a gig, and you're part of that, and all you can do is feel so sorry, because I'm a human being and they're human beings. So yeah, that's not a good event when that happens, because I actually end up feeling really like, oh my god. Yeah.
Do you like clubs or do you like open air events? What's your preference?
I think I like both. I mean, there are some incredible spaces. I mean, look at, for example, in Hyderabad Prism.
Yeah.
That is an insane space. Any DJ in the world would want to play there. I mean, you can go up there and, I don't know, pick your nose and people will still scream and shout because the setup is absolutely incredible. I mean, just absolutely insane. So, you know, that already makes the party. You know, the music isn't on because there's just so much confetti and like the smoke and then huge screens and then lights and then, oh my god, this thing that goes down and you know, it's like so yeah, I mean, but then when you play outside, you can play much bigger sounds and you're under the stars and you have the breeze and people seem to be more free. And I think I enjoy it all. I think it's very hard. You know, I even did some live gigs where I'm playing music in Germany in this underwater floating center where people they don't swim, so they're in water and there are speakers under the water and there are projections under the water, and the water is nice and warm, and it's salt water, so you don't have to do anything other than lay on the water, and that you're floating. And I was playing live music with a flute player and with a violin player and doing ambient music, and just seeing people kind of heal themselves under the water, and seeing the transformation of the people before and after, that was also really incredible. So it's like there's beauty. I think if you choose to, you can see beauty in everything, no matter how hard.
Correct.
And that's a better way of looking at it, to try and look at it, because then you don't take on so much negative energy, and you can still have that positive energy for yourself and for the universe. So I've had some really very varied experiences, which I can treasure in so many different ways, good, bad, and ugly, and scary. You know?
Have you faced any social trolling during your live gigs of late? I mean, that's something that people have been, facing of late during these 5 months of Of course, we've faced it before as well, but it just increased, over time during this pandemic
Um,
mostly.
I don't know. I don't really look. And I'm sure Kamlesh just deletes them all, so I never get to see it, bless him. He doesn't want to see
Bless
stuff.
him, seriously. I mean,
But
people have been talking about it so much.
I know, and there's, people get on their soapbox so easily about things they know nothing about. Um, if it's something that troubles me, I just delete it, and I'm like, yeah, you can choose to. I mean, I know when it's an overwhelming number, but I think number one, I don't really get that many, and if I do, thank God for Kamlesh, because he'll delete it and I don't see it. And thirdly, you can choose to be affected by it or not, and people can have an opinion, but the last thing I give a fuck about is people's opinions.
I mean,
I
exactly. Everybody has an opinion. People are going to talk irrespective, good,
Yeah,
bad, and ugly. So
and that's their karma and that's their opinions, and that doesn't make you who you are and who you choose to
correct.
be. I think for me, it just reaffirms my belief in myself that if I'm provoking somebody, that's a good thing. Because, when you're provoked, you think. If it was easy, then we don't think. It can be mindless. But when it's a little bit provocative, at least you have to think about something. Like art
Right.
should be provocative because it makes you think about things. If it was all easy, life wouldn't be, you know, life is all the challenges, and there's a beauty in
True.
that, you know.
How different do you think DJing has become? I mean, from the time you started off DJing.
Wow. um there's a lot more of them. Well, I don't know. I think the technology has been part of really changing the face of DJing and maybe making it a lot easier to actually do the technical stuff.
Right.
Maybe there's people doing DJing from a technical point of view, but not really a connection to the soul of music and the message maybe that they're bringing to people, or the frequencies. So I think there's a lot more accessibility. I mean, basically anybody can DJ even from their laptop, which I think is a really good thing because it gives people tools to be able to express themselves and maybe find out
Right.
more who they are and what they can do. And it all gives us tools which were not possible 20 years ago. You'd have to have standalone equipment to do that.
Right.
So once again, I'm sorry, but I just try to take it all positively instead of in my positive sentence. Because I think I think it's wonderful. There's, I think more competition makes you. It's a good thing. It also, that I'm appreciative of the fact I'm still here. There are people who still want to hear me. Now their kids come to my gigs. Like it's like Ivan. How do maybe Ivan's playing to third generation by now. And it's going to be Ma Faiza, going to be grandma. I don't know. It's going to happen. I'm already playing to fifth generation fans, so children of people that grew up on me. Like I met a guy in Bangalore who said to me, my father, he was such a big fan of you. And I looked at him and I was like, fuck, you don't look really young. You're not like 10 or something. So, like, what does that mean? He said, yeah, I've grown up listening to your music. We used to give CDs to my dad. And I was like, wow, that's where we're at. But I mean, it's really touching and really all of that, but it's also like fucking scary. I've been here a long time. Yeah, but not as long as Ivan. So yeah, he's on to the third generation, I'm sure. It'll happen to you, Donna. You'll see. You'll have fans who'll come up, you know. Like there's this very young DJ, Atom. I think he started DJing when he was 6. And he won some DJ competitions, and he's a really sweet guy and a really talented kind of dubstep, glitch, breaks DJ.
Right.
And you know, it's like, imagine having a fan who's 6. You know, when you think about it, it sounds, but when you meet him, he's really like, you know, I was really inspired by you, and I really love what you do, and you know, you're one of the first people I heard, and that's like, wow, you know, like I've got a 6-year-old fan who's not my relative, because obviously my nephew who picked me, like, yeah, my aunt's an international DJ, she's so cool, so of course he's a fan, but that's built in, you know. But a 6-year-old fan, that's yeah.
That's something.
Yeah. I guess I never thought about things like this before. It's just happening, you know.
Right. So any new project, like any new music that you're taking out right now, or rather working on right now?
Yeah, I've been working
Something
on.
up for grabs in the near
Well,
future?
I think it's all up for grabs. Apart from I'm not up for grabs. But everything else is. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of remixes, which I will slowly, you know, put them up on SoundCloud, and I've been really
Yeah.
enjoying it. And that's been a new expression, which has been continuing for the last 1 year, but I've had a lot more time to do it. And I'm recently doing a new project where I'm doing the background score for a project for Tarun Tahilani.
Right.
So he's one of India's top designers, and he's doing a virtual fashion show. I already did some of the music for his last virtual fashion show. So
Yeah.
this has been something really challenging. I've never done this before, and to understand my brief and to really do something that's never been done before, which is what we all try to do. I know,
Right.
you know, I'm trying to do that, and from my side, and also learning while I'm doing, and really stepping outside my comfort zone, and maybe also creating something new for me to do whilst DJing isn't happening, you know. So I'm really proud, and I'm excited, and I'm in the middle of doing it right now, and I'm enjoying the process, which was something I didn't think I would. So it's definitely been new beginnings and a lot of learning, and I'm really enjoying putting it into practice, because that's what I'm doing. So that's my new
Yeah.
project. That's going to happen at the end of August, in September, and
Right.
I'm really excited by that, because I've put in like days and weeks of my time to do that, whereas with DJing it's just a couple of hours and then you come home. So
Right.
I'm pretty good at being very dedicated. I already said I'm not good at homework, so it's really, you know, at 50 I'm better at homework than I was when I was 15.
And what else would you do right now anyway? I mean, now that you're stuck home, and of course, virtual gigs are the only way out for us. I
Well,
think.
I have so many other interests, you know, DJing and music, whilst it's a very big part of my life, part of who I am, it's probably, there's lots of other bits of me. I really enjoy cooking. I really enjoy creative energy. I'm really lucky I have a garden, which I've created. So I really
Wow.
enjoy, you know, doing gardening. I love doing hobbies. I do some drawing. I mean, you know, I'm never bored. I can honestly say, even if, yeah, I can always find something to do or create or feel or express. So I feel really blessed with that, and I feel really grateful that I have so many other interests that it's not just music. Although music I'm really passionate about. Actually, I think I'm quite passionate about many things. So, and I've always fed those interests, you know. And even whilst people would maybe doing, other DJs were doing 100 gigs a year, I limited myself to 50 gigs a year maximum. And in the last couple of years, I was doing maybe 40 gigs a year, and that's all. And I gave myself 6 months in a year where I could travel and I wasn't DJing. If I did DJ, it wasn't really for money. It was just to be at places where I wanted to be, and it was outside of India, and it was more about soaking up the spiritual vibe of those places rather than
Right.
work. So I gave already that time to myself. I mean, now I have the whole year, which is a little bit maybe too much, but I'd already started giving that to myself because, you know, I really don't want, I found myself kind of spiritually depleted when I was doing 100 gigs a year. And it wasn't healthy for my body, mind, or spirit, you know. So
Right.
I had already developed lots of other interests and actually spent time putting energy into those. It's not something that I had to do now, you know. I'd already started that. I mean, most other DJs, I tell them all, look, you're working way too hard. Money isn't everything. Health is wealth. And your spiritual well
Absolutely.
is the most important thing, because that's what makes us who we are, is our spirit.
Right. That's absolutely true, you know. I mean, we all kind of run behind the rat race all the time,
Yeah,
and
and I
that
think
kind of weighs us down.
absolutely,
Right.
you know, I got really sick doing 100 gigs. It just wasn't healthy for me. I put everything I have, and I'm so present in those gigs, and doing so many just depletes me to a point where I've got nothing for anybody, and it becomes so minus energetically and spiritually that it's very hard for me to then top that back up, you know. So yeah, you know, doing yoga and taking time out for yourself and maybe being in nature and finding other things that you can express yourself with, I think are really important. You know, just because you're making a shitload of money, that doesn't give you any spiritual growth, you know. Rather,
Because you lose out on all the time that you have for yourself at the moment.
the most
You
precious
know,
thing in
and
this world is two things. It was three I worked out. One is time, two are choices, and three is your health.
without which you really can't do much.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So
all the money in the world can't buy you those.
that's
Well,
that's
money
very
can buy you
true.
choices, but you can make choices without money. But yeah, you know, so
Absolutely.
and success, and what is success? I think success is having time, and success is where you're healthy, and success is when you're nourished and nurtured, you know, not depleted. Success is not what you have in the bank. I think it's what you have in your emotional bank and in your set of experiences, you know,
The
in life.
memories you make, the time and the travels, and spending time with family and with yourself, introspecting within yourself. That's so
Yeah,
so important
yeah,
amidst all
definitely.
the hard work you do. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely one. All right, tell us something. To the new generation of DJs at the moment, who's becoming DJs, or rather, who aspires to become a DJ. You know, how can they be creatively sound?
I think listen to as many different genres as possible. Watch as many documentaries about music, even if it's not your genre. Like watch some jazz documentaries of Miles Davis, or watch everything that is around music or sound. You know, extend your knowledge base, because actually everything's interconnected, and you can relate to so many things of listening to someone else's story, even though it might be in a different genre and a different time. But the journey is the same: the frustrations, the breaking out of a structure, the finding of yourself, the taking chances and expressing yourself in a new way, the challenges that you face by, you know, society, or by your audience, or by the business, and the challenges that you have with yourself through excessiveness, or not nourishing yourself. Or so I think we've all got things that we can learn and benefit from that. So I think extending your music knowledge base is really important. Like I try to watch as many documentaries about anything to do with music, art, sound, and I just, whenever I see things, I'm like, you know, I can really connect to that. I actually, I found something I connected with, even though it's on a whole nother stream, and that can give me maybe some more knowledge to be able to deal with things that happen for me, because it's happened to other people, but maybe in another way. And I think
Right.
music, the more music you can listen to, the more understanding you have of sounds and music and frequencies. You know, you don't need to have musical
Right.
knowledge, but I think you need to have musical experience, and that means you just need to listen to a lot of music. Like I think I can honestly say I listen to millions of tracks, millions, not hundreds of thousands, millions. So yeah, I just feel that gives me a really good foundation for being able to. I might not know what key it is, I might not know many things, but I'll know if it sounds right or wrong. I can feel it, and that's coming from a knowledge of listening to so many other things, I think, which you can bring to the
Right.
table.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We have the rapid fire questions for you now.
Oh, they were. Oh
but
my
but
god.
they're
Yeah,
good ones.
let's do rapid fire. All right, I'll do the
They're
best.
good ones.
Okay, hit me with it.
All
They
right.
might
Three
not be
things.
very rapid. They might just be very fired. Come on then.
Three things that no one knows about MA FAIZA.
I think everybody knows everything about MA FAIZA.
No,
What
there are people who don't know a lot about you.
things?
So
Okay, I've got a size 46 shoe. Oh God. I just lost 17 kilos doing
oh wow.
intermittent fasting. And I don't know if people know that, but I'm feeling really good about myself because I did 23 hours a day fasting for like months.
Ooh.
I just didn't
Did you
think I
not
could ever.
fall sick by doing that?
No, in fact, my body was so much stronger because you use up so much energy digesting. I ate for 1 hour a day,
Did
which
you eat like a lot? Did you eat like whatever you wanted to eat?
yeah, I ate whatever I wanted. And of course, the first few days I ate like a pig, and then I couldn't do yoga, and I was like in a food coma. And then I was like, okay, baby, you can't do this every day because you'll just be in a food coma every day. So I had to find balance in it, but that was also magical, and I could never have imagined that I could have done that. So
Wow.
there's something intermittent fasting, 1 hour a day eating. I managed it. Another thing, see, they're not very rapid, are they? Sorry.
That's all right.
Thing,
A story within a story is always good. It's always fun.
I
Good one.
know I've got really big hands. They're massive, and I feel like they're kind of healing hands, and I bring that to the mixer. You know, I studied massage, and I was a Reiki master 20
Oh
years ago.
wow.
So I think, yeah, there's some big healing hands.
That's something you and I didn't know about. Reiki master.
Oh, there you go.
See?
Got to give a few things, you know, keep a few things to myself. Um, I give
Okay.
really
What?
good hugs. I've been
What?
known to give really good hugs. I'm a hugger.
Oh, well, I missed out on that then.
Well, Donna, next time we meet, yeah, there you go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, tell us one of your favorite international and one national DJ.
International DJ. I really like, I mean, okay, this is another thing. You see, you asked me DJ, and I'd rather tell you artists because
That's all right.
there's a lot of
Artist.
artists who DJ, but actually I love their music, and they're not the most inspiring DJs because they're just playing their music off live. So what are
Right.
they actually doing? So that's why it's asking me
Your
those questions.
favorite artist, international and international.
I have a few. I really like Stan Kolev. I think he makes really great music. I
Wow,
really
I like
like,
it too.
yeah, I really like Liquid Soul. I know him for many, many years, and he's amazing music. And yeah, so that's two international. Whoa, I went over. And in India, well, you know, there's a lot of resident DJs that I really think they work so hard and they're so capable, and you know, they're really good at mixing and they're really talented at what they're doing. There's Shine in Hyderabad. I've mentioned him before. There's, you know, I might need Kamlesh to give me a few names here. Hold on, Kamlesh. He, you know, I'm a monster. I just forget most people's name. I mean, okay. Oh, it's a tough one. There are many that I admire. You know,
Right.
Can you ask me that again, and then I can give you a better answer? Oh my god.
Okay, three hobbies that MA FAIZA absolutely loves.
Cooking,
Okay.
eating, and being creative, like using my hands. So I don't know, drawing, making, painting, fixing. I love fixing things. So taking things apart and then successfully putting them back together. When they're back together, I want to smash it and I get really angry. But yeah, I like fixing things, and yeah, I think I love
Smash and
reading.
then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love reading. Um, that's four.
That's all right. You can tell about your gardening as well.
I
I
love
should have
nature.
asked you five. I shouldn't have
Yeah,
asked you three.
do that. And I'm sure there's many more that I just can't think of. But I love doing things. I'm not very good at being. I still have to learn how to be. I'm a bit of a doer.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of a little difficult, when you're always on the run to just kind of be. It's kind of
yeah,
difficult, yeah. So three qualities that is a must to be a DJ, in your opinion.
I think you really have to listen. Many DJs don't really listen. They're, you know, let's not say listen, let's say watch what's happening with the crowd. Sometimes I see DJs playing music and I'm looking at the crowd and I'm thinking, God, they fucking hate this music. They're not enjoying themselves. Are you actually looking at the crowd right now? They're not having a good time, but it looks like we don't care. So I think there has to be a synergy, and I also think many DJs don't know much about sound, so they play distorted sounds. The mixer's right on full, and the gains are on full, and it's just like standard. Like I meet a lot of sound engineers who have no respect for any DJs because they know that most of the DJs have no sound training. So
Nice.
I think there's very few engineers that can actually say they love DJs. Most of the time it's just like, oh, a DJ's coming, our sound might get blown, or oh my god, full on, oh my god, we're gonna have to put 5 limiters on this thing because so many times I go to a mixer and I would say 90% of the time the person playing before me, doesn't matter where they were from, doesn't matter if they're a superstar, doesn't matter, Indian, Western, doesn't matter, but 90% of the time the gains are actually distorted, and
Nice.
there's zero. Any more than zero is distortion, and if you see red, it usually means you need to stop. It's not good. Orange, okay. Green, yay. Red, uh-uh, uh-uh.
And the third thing, what's the third thing?
I think you need to remain grounded and, not think that you're any better than anybody else and that you've just been given a chance to maybe lead something, but we all participate in it. And every single person there is as valuable as you are. And you're no better than anybody else. You're just maybe
Yeah.
doing something, but without every single energy there, you're also nothing.
You're also exactly.
Like people come to
Um,
me and they're like, Ma, I came here just for you. And I'm like, dude, I came here just for
just
you.
for you.
Yeah. I mean, without them, there's no me. And without me, there's still them. So actually, I think that's a more honest way of looking at it. I think if you
Right.
get your head stuck up your own asshole, I don't think that you can see because of all the shit. You need to have a reality check here. At least that got a laugh out of you. Don't worry, they're gonna edit
I'm
it.
actually loving this interview, seriously.
Okay, people
Okay.
at home. Yeah.
Okay. A piece of advice you wish you had got 10 years ago, or rather still, when during the beginning of your career, you know?
Well, I think at the beginning, I'd say a piece of advice I wish I'd got when I was a child was just that I'd go back that far is to just be yourself and not worry about anybody else, and be who you are and have the strength to be that, and don't waste any time trying to be something that you're not, because I'm sure I wasted a few years trying to be what I wasn't.
Trying to fit in, and
Yeah, and like, how does size 12 shoes fit in anywhere? It's like I wasn't going to fit in from the day I was born. Oh, here's another rare thing that people don't know about me. I have the second rarest blood group in the world. There you go. I just suddenly thought about it. Sorry, because I have a rare blood group. I have a rare look. I'm just a little bit unusual, which is a wonderful thing.
Exactly.
It's been really challenging, So I think if there's anything that I keep telling people, it's just be who you are. Be it.
Don't bother about what people think.
Absolutely. Don't go pleasing people. Don't go offending people deliberately either. I mean, there has to be a balance. Nobody wants someone who's completely obnoxious, but at least be who you are. And if you are going to be obnoxious and that is you, then own that fucking shit,
React with one word to the following, yeah? Music.
Joy.
Awards.
Terrifying. When you've got to go up and receive it and they give you the microphone and you're like, oh God. Both times I've gone, I've been so nervous. My heart's pounding. I've got to give a speech, and like, I'm good on one-on-one, but stick a camera and it becomes a little bit more difficult for me, and put me on a stage. I mean, I can do it with a DJ table in front now after 20 years of practice, but I'm there standing with a microphone going, thank you for this award. Like, yeah, no, terrifying. Yeah.
Okay, relationship.
Wonderful. Love.
Fans.
Fans. Overwhelming.
Club.
Club. Oh, I don't know, babe. My brain's gone to sleep. Club.
You haven't seen a club in a long time. I don't doubt it. What is the one track that never gets old for you?
My own heartbeat.
No, the one track, the one song.
Okay, there's one track that I do play a lot, actually. I use it as a transition track. I use Rickham and Banzi's, quite a few of their tracks. And for me, I guess I could just hear it 100 times, and I still love it each time I play it. And I think some of those tracks I have been playing for many years. I try to change many tracks, but there are just a few that doesn't matter when it comes on. I'm just like, oh my God, yes, I love it. And I might have heard it 500 times, Yeah.
Tell me the one thing you would like to change in the industry.
Oh God, there's many things.
No, you can go ahead.
Paid when you're supposed to get paid. People treating everybody a bit more equally. In terms of the DJs, some people get treated in one way and other DJs get treated another way. I think there needs to be more respect for all the work that resident DJs go in and do. Like, I take my hat off to them. I could not DJ every day. I could not do requests. I could not play music I don't love. And I think they're really undervalued in India, and they have actually been responsible for putting electronic music on the map, because they play it every day relentlessly.
Every day.
And even when people just wanted Bollywood music, they would stick and sneak a few of their own tracks in, which I'm sure influenced people. So I think they're really undervalued in the industry, and they definitely should have more respect and be paid a lot more money. They're definitely underpaid as well. So I think that I'd like that to change. And I'd also like things to change where, just booking number one, blah, blah, blah in the industry, and then, that's a good party. I mean, I'm sorry, we should be valuing our own, fostering Indian talent, and not just booking white people to come and take all their money and get on their private jet and leave after 1 hour to go, so they can go to Japan and play the same fucking set that they just played by pushing one button. So I'd also like a lot more talent in the industry to have value, because here it's not really about talent, it's about your name, and I think that needs to change.
Right. Tell me the easiest way to piss MA FAIZA off. So she can
Ooh.
smash things and then she can fix it again.
You touch my CD player while I'm DJing, and oh yeah, I've been quite rude to people. Yeah, like I've been mixing and someone's just touched the jog dial while I've been mixing, and literally I could have punched that person. I told them to fuck off, and I don't say that very often. How to piss me off? Yeah, I mean, God, I'm sure Kamlesh could tell you a million different because he tries to make sure it doesn't happen. Because when I do get, oh yeah, send me a shitty car at the airport to pick me up when I've not slept and I'm 6 foot tall and I've got a size 46 shoe and I've just asked for a Nova. I've not asked for a Mercedes or an Audi. I've just asked for a fucking Innova. And you send me some small car and I've got 5 hours worth of driving and I've not slept for 2 days. Hell yeah, I want to get on the flight and go back, because I'm like, is this the car you would send for your mother? If it's not the car you would not send for your mother, then please don't send it for
Don't
me.
send it to me.
I think when you're smaller, those things don't matter. But for someone who's really tall and big, like even my foot size, my knee touches the seat, and it's just like, why would you do that? You're trying
And
to,
it's just very uncomfortable, you know. I mean, you have to go and perform anyway. So you want to
yeah.
be a little comfortable, yeah.
Maybe 500 rupees by not booking me what I want. So for me, I get quite, and the worst thing is when I get pissed off while I'm on the road or on the way, oh God, it just depletes me of my positive energy, and then I've got to reach into myself and, you know, realign my brain and my heart and not feel like hurt and not have a little wibble. And I get upset quite quickly, you know, and I may get a little angry, but usually I just end up crying because I'm very
You just
sensitive.
let it out. You just let it out through your tears.
To cry at the gig. I mean, I think as well, you know, like I've even had gigs where I've cried. I played in Israel. I played in Israel last year. I think I was there in the summer last year, and I played like a 5-hour set of total melodic music that I felt would just bring peace to this country, you know, like these sonic frequencies, and people were so uplifted. And at the end of the gig, I just cried. I was like, oh my God, I'm so emotional. This has just been such an emotional gig for me. And I burst into tears, and all the people came and gave me a really big group hug, and we were all like,
Oh.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I can get really emotional, you know, and yeah, I think that's a
It's
good.
expressed through your music, I think.
Yeah, and also the music, you know, evokes something in me, and it can evoke something in other people. Like sometimes I look at people on the dance floor, they come to me afterwards, and it's as though we just had sex. I mean, we did it, but it's as though they look at me with this. I don't know what it is. I can't describe it, but I know it's just like, and sometimes at the end of a gig, I might have had 500 people there, but I feel like I had sex with everybody. It's been so intimate. It's been so real. It's been so emotional. It's been such a deep connection for those hours. You know, I feel like I know everybody and everybody knows me, but this is, I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well, but that's how it feels. So it can be really, that's why it also depletes you, but it fills you, which is why a lot of artists, not just DJs, you know, find that balance between a personal life and work life, and the highs and the lows can be very difficult. So there's a lot of addiction, or there are people who actually, you know, end up killing themselves because normal life doesn't really have a meaning when you touch such high energy, you know, with huge amounts of people, because that's also a shift of energy, you know, it's massive.
Right.
Sorry, I digress a lot. You ask a question.
No, man, I mean, I am enjoying, you know, we are way above time with your interview. But I'm just asking you questions because I'm like, wow, this resonates with me so much.
Well, no, you know, I just like to be really honest. I'm not into faking anything, and I'm really bad at faking. I think most people can see when I'm not happy at a gig. You know, when I've got a technical problem, or I've got an emotional problem, or I've got a physical
And it's
problem.
just, it shows on your face. And
I'm,
I've seen you perform so many times, and that you just sparkle up, like you just lit up when you're in a very happy mood and happy space.
yeah, I
And I've
think
seen that
so.
sparkle in you.
Yeah, yeah, I
So,
can
so
see,
yeah,
and I want to always have that, but it's not always there because like I
I
said,
mean, you always have that ups and lows on time to time, and
yeah,
it's just that.
definitely,
So,
definitely. But that's the magic
what
of life. Like I said, you never really know, do you?
exactly? You just don't know what's to come next. Take
Yeah,
every day as it comes.
yeah, every moment actually.
What is the most useless talent Mafaiza has? Please don't tell me sleeping.
No, sleeping is very useful. My God, restorative. Useless. The most useless talent or the most useful? Useless, no?
Usefully, we've heard so much. The most useless one.
Hey, what's useless talent? Oh my God, useless talent.
It's really not a talent, but it's just the way of saying it.
Oh God,
Does she
I don't
have
know.
any?
Probably, I'm human. I'm probably shit at quite a few things. Okay, I'm really bad at directions. And when I get lost, I get really upset and I can cry. When I get lost. So on Google Maps, when it's like, okay, there's 5 lanes. Which lane am I supposed to take? I can't read it. Oh my God, I don't know which one it is. I don't know. I don't know. So no, and people are like, yeah, but you've driven there before. I'm like, yeah, but I don't keep that in my brain. I don't know. I find out how
See,
to get
again,
there.
you resonate here as well. I am road blind. I can't
Yeah,
recognize roads.
yeah, me too. And usually I'm going back to the place after some time, and things have changed anyway. So yeah, no, I'm not very good at directions. That's really, and not many people know that. But everyone's
Okay,
going to know me
we've,
so well, I'll have nothing to share. I'm going to do another interview, and they're going to be like, yawn, yawn. We know all of that.
no. Well, we've come to the end of the rapid fire questions, though.
Oh my God, they weren't
You,
rapid, were they?
they really weren't. They were just questions.
I know. I'm not.
But
I'm
they were
really.
interesting. I mean, I enjoyed. I enjoyed so much.
Me
Literally,
too.
just laughing and laughing, laughing.
Well, laughing's good now. I'd rather laugh than cry, but crying's also good.
Well, crying just kind of releases the emotions that's been building up. So why not? I mean, I'm not
And
ashamed of
crying
crying when I have to.
laughter, and laughter goes to crying, so they're right next to each other. I find, you know, if I laugh a lot, I end up crying, and if I'm crying a lot, I end up laughing. I just hope I'm not the only one.
No, you're not the only one. Well,
Well,
do you
no,
have any?
it's good to be unique now. So,
I know. Well, do you have any advice for the new generation? The last question of the interview.
well,
Anything you want to share with our audience?
I think I've said most of it. Just be yourself and love yourself. Take care of yourself. Be kind. Be authentic. Live life fully. Experience everything. Don't let people tell you what this experience is or that. Go and experience it for yourself, whatever it is, you know, and make decisions on your own experiences, not someone else's. Live your
Yeah.
life and be authentic, I think, because that's a really hard thing. Like I said, we all
Yeah.
want to impress and we all want to be accepted and liked, but you know, be authentic to yourself. I think is the best message to give all of us. Every time I say it to myself, I remind myself, you know.
Thank you so much, Ma, for being with us. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
Donna, me too. I've had a real laugh, and it's only been like, I don't know, an hour or something, or we've
Hour
done
and a
really
half, hour and a half. And I
sorry.
just didn't want to stop. But I was like, okay.
Well, maybe we can do another one in the future, maybe in the flesh, when I
Absolutely.
can give you a hug rather than the virtual one.
Exactly. I would love it. I would love it. I just
Uh,
hope the pandemic ends quickly
what
so we can all.
I think it's more about feeling less fearful. in ourselves. And when that happens, then I think people will be meeting. I don't know necessarily that this is going to end. I think this will continue. But I think it's more about how you feel about your fears, because this has just kind of highlighted people who had fears anyway, but given people
Yeah,
more fear, and fear isn't a good thing. Once you bring fears in, I think you focus on those fears, and then you bring that fear energy to lots of other things. So I think
exactly.
I'd like to go is that people are not scared, because you got to trust at some point, haven't you? And we are. We've always I think we've been told that we can control everything when actually we control nothing.
We control nothing, exactly.
That's been what's liberating, is that I think for a lot of people, or scary, depending on how you look at it, is that you're not in control. So, be there and be present, and that's all you can be. But coming with fear isn't going to be anything positive.
I know. But I really hope we get to catch up soon. I mean,
Yeah, I hope
I
so
would
too.
probably just take the car and just be like, you know what, I'm coming over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And let's hope that happens. And thanks for doing this and giving time for stories to be told, and for unlocking secrets never heard before.
That's the whole idea of doing this show, you know. It's
Yeah,
not just your DJ life, but
yeah,
about you and your journey,
yeah.
about
So
the contribution of music, that each one of us has actually put in so many years that no one really knows about. So
yeah,
I
they
just
only
think it's,
see the famous stuff, but they don't see the 10 or 15 years.
yeah, the whole
But
idea was to kind of bring people alive from this interview, and for all the young generations actually to kind of know and understand each artist who's been there for so many years. So that was the whole concept. So
yeah,
I
I
just
think
hope I'm doing a good job. I don't know.
I watched some of the others, and I really enjoyed you. And you asked actually some really different questions, because I've been asked a lot of shit in my time. So thank you.
Thank you, Ma, for being with us. Thanks a lot for giving us your time. I
Pleasure.
really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. Yeah. So see you soon.
I'll see you soon, for sure. For sure.
Best.
Bye. See you.
Bye. Bye. I don't know how to.
All right, guys. That was my Pfizer for you guys. I enjoyed taking your interview thoroughly, like seriously. But we do have another big name coming up next week. And stay tuned. Be safe, be healthy, and I will see you soon. This is your host, DJ Donna, signing off for now.